This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Thursdays videos like this one, I tend to kind of save these for when I want to get something off my chest. Everything else on the channel is pretty much defined. Monday is a lead guitar lesson, Tuesday is a top 5 rundown, Wednesday is some sort of music theory type video. At the moment on a Wednesday I'm doing a series on rhythms, rhythm notation, counting rhythms, basically understanding rhythms. Friday I do a live stream, no video on a Saturday, and then Sundays I do some sort of gear demo or review. And as I say, the Thursday videos are just like my little opinion pieces, and that's what we've got today. The body or the content, the main thrust of this video today, I wrote it down as a blog post a little while ago for my tier 2 Patreon members, and sometimes I'll just dip into that content there to make one of these Thursday videos if I think it deserves a bit of a wider audience. But the tier 2 people on Patreon get it first, sometimes months in advance, very often or all the time weeks in advance, and not all of those blog posts make it to YouTube anyway. So if you want to get this kind of thing more regularly, sign up for my tier 2 Patreon. There's the address, link in the description. $6 a month for the tier 2, loads of benefits. Or if you just want the basic package, tabs and jam tracks and so on, $3 a month for tier 1. Anyway, this is what I wrote on the topic of gear reviews a few weeks ago for said tier 2 Patreon members. I've had the idea for today's post rattling around inside my head for some time now. Back in, I think it was 2021, I bought a gorgeous Harley Benton SC 552, a magnificent Les Paul style guitar. And I wondered at the time whether it would be the new Yamaha Pacifica. What I mean by that is that the Pacifica utterly revolutionised the budget guitar market in, I think it was 1993. Suddenly it wasn't acceptable for companies like Squier, Epiphone and Encore to charge £200 for a guitar with a plywood body. The Pacifica redefined what was acceptable and what wasn't in the entry-level guitar stakes. Within a very short period of time, the plywood-bodied Epiphone Strat copy was discontinued, as was the plywood Squier Strat, and the Encore E76 Strat-alikes days were numbered too. I wondered if the arrival of a £230 single cut with Goto hardware and stainless steel frets would put a rocket up the backside of companies like Epiphone. Surely they would quietly start upgrading their specs in response to this. Another example of this phenomenon I'd point out would be the lawsuit era guitars. Companies like Ibanez, Bernie and most notably Tokai began offering high quality copies of Strats, Telecasters and Les Pauls which boasted better build quality than the instruments they aped. The big two guitar companies responded in two ways. They launched multiple legal actions against their Japanese impersonators to stop them using logos and headstock shapes which were too close to those of the originals, but they also pulled their socks up and sorted out the quality control issues which had driven their potential customers into the arms of the copy brigade. Fender also revived the Squier brand. They acquired this when they bought out a string manufacturing company of that name, and they used the brand for a range of budget-conscious instruments. In short, much like the way the Pacifica was the rising tide that lifted all ships in the early 1990s, a generation earlier the lawsuit guitars also made the big American companies sit up and take notice. So the fact that a budget brand like Harley Benton, and I guess more recently companies like Artist Guitars, began offering the kind of specs you'd normally associate with boutique brands, this would surely cause the same kind of revolution in the marketplace again, wouldn't it? It seemed like the actual response from the big budget companies, by which I mean Squier and Epiphone, was to stick their fingers in their ears and go, la 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 la. I'm not saying that the big companies aren't reacting to changes in the market, they're just doing too little too late. Fender's reaction to the Ibanez AZ, sorry I'm British, I say Z, not Z, which is a £500 guitar with a roasted maple neck, stainless steel frets and locking tuners, was to launch the Fender Standard Stratocaster for the same price. So you can buy a legit Fender for the same money, right? Almost. These guitars are made in the same factory as the Squier guitars, with a lower spec than said Squiers, ceramic pickups instead of the Alnico models found on the classic vibe Squiers, and a price hike of 150 quid. Essentially they downgraded a Squier and put the price up. Hardly a response which shows they've got an ear to the ground, is it? The response in guitar message boards and social media and YouTube was predictable. All the independent YouTubers who reviewed the guitar were mainly derisory in their opinions, whilst the paid shills did the best to polish the turd. One such individual addressed the guitar's shortcomings, sharp fret ends, muddy pickups and a too high price tag, with the line, "But at least you're getting a real Fender." Not sure you are really. If Bentley bought Toyota and started putting Bentley badges on the Corolla models, would it be a real Bentley? But here's the rub. These guitars are selling, so Fender appear to have got it right. And I think this is the problem with the modern guitar marketplace. Once upon a time, in a pre-internet age, if a product didn't offer what the market wanted, people voted with their wallets. They simply didn't buy it. Nowadays, the adage that there's no such thing as bad publicity is being proven over and over. People buy the product with the suboptimal specs and the high ticket price simply so they can go on the internet, get angry and slag it off. That new Boss gadget thing is a case in point. It's a £250 multi-effects pedal with 16 onboard effects which can be used one at a time. Then you can register for an account with Boss by giving them your email address and no doubt other personal information. In return, they'll allow you to license, i.e. rent, additional sounds for the gizmo. So, a multi-effects pedal which can't do multiple effects, costs more than many pedals which can, and invites you to put your name on who knows how many spam email lists in order to use the full functionality at extra cost. No thanks. Even if I had a use for such a thing, I'm not buying it. If only the outrage mob on YouTube took the same attitude instead of buying the thing just to have an angry bitch about it, Boss would probably have a flop on their hands. They would have learned an important lesson and hopefully come up with something better next time. It seems to me that far from holding gear manufacturers to account, the internet provides two beneficial things to companies who get lazy when it comes to responding to the marketplace. One, it costs nothing to put a publicity video on YouTube, so they're saving money on advertising. A buzz is generated and sales will follow. Two, the people who are curious about what all the hype is about buy the product, then vent their spleen in a YouTube video. Instead of potential customers steering a wide berth around the subpar gizmo, the curiosity factor is multiplied. In this way, the internet reaction to a bad product acts as a safety valve. The companies would rather have a few angry YouTubers constantly talking about them than pallets full of unsold products sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Of course, there are exceptions to this rule. That ridiculous plastic aeroband guitar-shaped object with pretend strings and a 1980s Casio keyboard sound is an example. Some products are just too stupid to survive scrutiny. But these are the rare aberrations. If the guitar marketplace reacted the same way to a £1,600 Fender with sharp fret ends as it did to the Aeroband toy, then we'd be in a much better place, I think. But then again, the internet wouldn't have anything to get angry about, would it? And that'll never do. Stop buying then bitching about products. It's the only language they understand. Tokai, Bernie and Yamaha proved this twice in the past. As ever, let me know your thoughts. And there you have it. Those are my thoughts on how I think YouTube in particular and the internet in general is often, kind of enabling companies to get away with products that previously people just wouldn't have bought. There is no such thing as bad publicity, it seems. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and we talk about stuff. It is, I think, a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it, but for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.